and I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
Quentin Tarantino's 1994 film, Pulp Fiction, released at an early stage in his career where he had only recently written his first film, True Romance, and directed his first film, Reservoir Dogs. Neither of them went on to become huge hits, but are widely considered great films and more so cult classics, with Reservoir Dogs being still known as one of the best directorial debuts of all time. In 1994, the film industry was in arguably one of the best states it's ever been in, with a ton of classics releasing such as The Lion King, Shawshank Redemption, and Forrest Gump. When it looked like the year couldn't get any better, Tarantino decided to drop a film which would have a staggering impact on the industry and thousands of college dorm walls. It's basically impossible to talk about Pulp Fiction without mentioning the dialogue. This is probably the most famous element of the film and played a huge role in why it's so popular today. Tarantino, who both wrote and directed the film, is able to transform such simple and uninteresting conversations, which you may have had on a daily basis, into something insanely engaging and makes it impossible for the viewer to stop paying attention. I don't really know the ins and outs of it or what exactly it is that makes the dialogue so engaging, but just watch this clip of Jules and Vincent talking.
Want some bacon?
No, man, I don't eat pork.
Are you Jewish?
No, I ain't Jewish. I just don't dig on swine, that's all.
Why not?
Pigs are filthy animals. I don't eat filthy animals.
Yeah, but bacon tastes good. Pork chops taste good.
Hey, sewer rat may taste like pumpkin pie, but I'd never know because I wouldn't eat the filthy motherfuckers.
It feels like you're sitting in the booth with them, listening intently to their conversation and almost contributing. It's scenes like this that make the overwhelmingly long 2.5-hour runtime basically fly by and make you think, I just listened to a couple guys talk about burgers, religion, and foot massages for a huge amount of time and really enjoyed it. Tarantino's ability to write scenes like this is just unmatched, and we really haven't seen anyone rival him in this field today. Another thing Pulp Fiction is widely known for is its confusing, weird, and yet satisfying structure. The film opens with two people planning a robbery, then cuts to two completely different people killing some other guys, and then it cuts to this other guy running away from a guy they've been talking about, then cuts back to the two guys before and back to the robbery from the beginning. There's a lot going on, and that's part of the reason why the film is considerably long. We have three main storylines which come together at least once in the film. On my first watch of the film, I felt very confused each time they switched character, but ultimately left the film feeling very satisfied with how it tied itself up nicely with the final scene. On rewatch, I found that it was a lot less stressful not to deal with the confusion of having a bunch of new characters thrown at you every few seconds and being left to figure out for yourself what you just watched. But I really do appreciate that your first watch of Pulp Fiction is a pretty cool experience that you really don't have with a lot of other films. One thing I think everyone agrees on about Tarantino's films, regardless of whether they think he's a good or bad director, is that he can create some really interesting characters. I've said it before in my video on Hans Landa, who I think is Tarantino's best character. But this guy can create some really memorable and layered characters. As for Pulp Fiction, I'll only be talking about Jules, Vincent, Mia, and Butch. Jules, played by Samuel L. Jackson, is a gangster who always recites the same Bible verse before killing a man, until he has a near-death experience and decides to change his ways. He's my favorite character solely because we as the audience can basically see his journey from a gangster to a regular civilian and his thought process throughout. We also have Vincent, played by John Travolta, who's also a gangster and was also almost killed along with Jules. However, his approach is to continue doing what he's doing and contrast Jules' idea that this was a miracle sent by God and was a chance to change their ways. There's a scene in the film where we can see them both arguing on whether it was or it wasn't, and you can see that the characters are written in such a way that really complements each other. Then you have Mia, played by Uma Thurman, the drug-addicted wife to Jules and Vincent's boss, a fan favorite character for her dancing and stress-free ideology. Mia, despite not being in the film for a particularly long period of time and being unconscious for a while, still has a huge impact on the film and is probably one of the most memorable characters. I haven't found there to be anything particularly good about her role, but there's just a vibe she brings which is simply unmatched. Finally, we have Butch, played by Bruce Willis, who is a boxer on the run as he failed to sell a fight even though he was told to do so by Marcellus Wallace, Jules and Vincent's boss and Mia's husband. Butch goes on a long journey to recover an old watch given to him by his father with some serious sentimental value, and fights some strange battles along the way. We don't really delve deep into his character, but from what I saw, I took him as a rather arrogant but still likable guy. Honestly, Butch isn't as interesting to me as the others, but his journey to safety is quite an interesting one. Something else which I just really love about Pulp Fiction is its insanely unpredictable plot. You can see that Tarantino loves to do stuff like this, and it's reflected really well in his latest film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. On release, a lot of people complained that it was just a series of random stuff happening for almost 3 hours. But on rewatch, you find that a lot of Tarantino's films, despite not fulfilling a particular purpose, will just find a way to make you enjoy yourself. This is what definitely happened to me with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Pulp Fiction. I found Pulp Fiction a lot better, but you can see its influence on Tarantino's later works. It's just the randomness and fun ride the film takes you on. There's some funny scenes, stressful scenes, and some really weird ones. You really don't see movies like this anymore. The entirety of Pulp Fiction basically revolves around one item, a briefcase. And whilst it's never revealed to us exactly what's inside this briefcase, it's implied that it's something of great value. The mystery surrounding the briefcase is just such a cool idea that fits in so well with the rest of the film and adds to the growing list of questions in the mind of the viewer. Not only are you struggling to figure out who the main character is, but you're also wondering what's in that briefcase. The mystery is just executed so well that I felt I had to comment on it. One reason why I believe that Pulp Fiction is a 10 out of 10 movie is that it just holds up so well to this day. Not a lot of experimental films like this are able to stay so mainstream for so long. It's become a household name even though it was made by a relatively small director at the time. It had a small budget of $8 million and went on to make over $200 million, making it one of the most successful independent films of all time. For perspective, one of the most successful indie films in recent years, Nora, had a budget of $6 million and went on to make $50 million. This is also a very successful film, but it just goes to show how great Pulp Fiction really is and how its simplicity was used as a tool to create a brilliant film. Well, that's what I thought of Pulp Fiction, one of my favorite movies of all time. Go watch it if you haven't already, and as always, like, subscribe and comment what you want to see next.